You're dead asleep, and then you hear it. Your bedroom door starts to creak open, and you hear those all too familiar tiny footsteps coming straight for you. You peek open one eye and you look at your clock, 5:15 a.m. Oh my gosh, why does this keep happening? Is your kid like a naturally early riser? Are you destined to wake up at 5 a.m. for the rest of your life? Well, I can confidently tell you, no, this is not your destiny. Listen, waking up at 5 a.m. is not cool for kids or adults. And there are things that you can do to fix this. So let's jump into this very hot topic on today's show. First of all, kids should be naturally sleeping until at least 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, I know 6 a.m. might sound early to some of you, but it is biologically what our kids are set up to do. Now, for those of you that have early risers and you're used to seeing 5 a.m. every morning, 6 o'clock might sound like a dream. So let's see how we can make that happen. Now, let's start by looking at why the heck is your kid waking up at 5 a.m. anyway? So the main cause of early wake-ups is kids being overtired. Now, overtired is just a technical way of saying that kids who chronically aren't getting enough total sleep just don't sleep well, and they tend to wake up really early. Your goal is for your child to be getting between 10 and 12 hours of sleep every night. And yes, I know that may sound like a lot of sleep, but that is what science tells us that our kids need. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story right here because I hear this from families all the time. In fact, I just got off a call earlier today with a family that said this to me. My 3-year-old falls asleep around like 8 or 8:30, but they're waking up at 5 a.m. every morning. And so I think that, they're just not tired anymore. They've already gotten enough sleep, so they're just ready to be awake. Well, that may seem like a lot of sleep to us, adults, but actually for your child, that's only like 8.5, 9 hours of sleep. That's not enough sleep. So what's actually going on here is it's not that your child isn't tired anymore or that your child doesn't need that much sleep. It's that your child isn't getting enough sleep. That lack of sleep is what's causing that 5 a.m. wake up. So what's the solution? The solution starts with getting your child more, better quality sleep. This is how their body starts to naturally sleep later in the morning. So to solve the problem, there are two main things to do. The first is put your child to bed earlier. Now, I know it seems a little bit counterintuitive that putting your child to bed earlier is going to actually help them sleep later in the morning. And families get like all nervous and like freaked out that their child's actually going to start waking up earlier, but they're not. This actually works. We say it's not logical, it's biological. You've got to get your child more sleep in their day. And the best time to do this is in the evening when they're tired after a long day. So if you've got a kiddo under the age of 6, their bedtime should be somewhere between 6:45 and 7:45, depending on the age of your child and whether or not they still nap. Second, in addition to putting your child to bed earlier at night, make sure that they're sleeping consistently through the night. If you are hearing from your child in the middle of the night or having to interact with them in the middle of the night, that's just going to cause them to become more and more overtired. So what do I mean by that? Here are some examples. Like let's say you're having to walk your child back to their room in the middle of the night, or if your child is changing sleeping locations in the middle of the night, if they're waking you up multiple times to take them to the potty, if they're just waking up and having a temper tantrum for no reason in the middle of the night, or they have like long periods of wakefulness. All of these things are going to contribute to them becoming more overtired, which is going to make those early wake-ups even worse. So that's why having consistent sleep where they stay asleep all night long is really important to prevent these early wake-ups. If you need help with this, you can check out all the great tips on my blog at awesomelittlesleepers.com. And you can also check out this video. Now, I've been working with families for almost a decade at this point, and early wake-ups is one of the biggest, most frustrating issues that families face. And like I said, going to bed too late and not getting enough good, consistent sleep are the main culprits. But there are two other things that you might be doing that are contributing to the problem. When your 3 or 4-year-old starts to drop their nap, this is a key time where parents report that kids start to wake up early. And the reason for that is even though they're maybe ready to drop their nap, they're still missing out on some of that daytime sleep. And when this happens, kids start to get, Overtired, exactly. So what you need to do when your child is in the process of dropping their nap is move bedtime earlier, even if it's just 15 minutes earlier, even if it's just for a few weeks, to help them catch up on some of that missed sleep. This is really going to help prevent those early morning wake-ups. Another thing that parents do that accidentally encourages kids to wake up early is allowing those pre-dawn cuddles in the parent's bed. So I hear this lots of times. Parents are like, oh, I'm fine as long as it's after like 5 a.m. We usually like let him into bed with us just so we can all try to get a little bit more rest. Well, that's all fine and good, but the problem that can happen here is that kids don't know when it's 5 a.m. They don't know when that magical time is that they're allowed to climb into bed with you. So it actually encourages them to get up to see like, oh, is now the time? Is now the time? And what accidentally can happen is you might see your kid waking up earlier and earlier and earlier, like at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, trying to see, oh, is now the time I can crawl into bed with you? So the best thing to do is really keep the mornings boring and encourage your child to stay in their room until at least 6 a.m. A color changing toddler clock can really help with this, and I'll link to one of my favorites in the notes. To learn more about how to achieve a peaceful early bedtime and get your kids sleeping those precious 10 to 12 hours that we know that they need, join me in my next Toddler Sleep Masterclass. It's free. All you have to do is reserve your spot, and you can do that at toddlersleepmasterclass.com.